Madripoor. I battle with Robbie Reyes, who transformed into the spirit vengeance.
Don't forget, the fire.
Ghost Rider exclaims as he releases a powerful flare of flame from his skull-like head, which strikes me, knocking me backwards. I'll take your ruined thunder over bone and flame any day. I retorted as I slammed my mighty hammer into Ghost Rider, knocking him backwards. Suddenly, Captain Marvel calls out to me, asking me to stop and pointing out that Robbie doesn't know what he is doing, that he isn't himself. The boy is a spirit of vengeance. I fear he is more himself than ever before, I replied. But Carol tells me that she doesn't believe that, and that Robbie is a good kid, so we have to take him down without hurting him. Carol screams when a streak of flame is hurled at her. The spirit of vengeance moves back towards us, as I tell Carol that we are halfway there. We definitely have not hurt him. Carol calls out to Robbie, encouraging him to fight this, telling him that he is not a monster and that he doesn't have to make us treat him like one. I tell Captain Marvel that Robbie cannot hear her, that Roberto is deep in the throes of warrior madness. And as I know all too well, there is only one cure for such a state. I stated as I raised my hammer and swing it towards Ghost Rider, the shock of pain. I called out as I slammed Ghost Rider to the ground. Carol and I close in on Ghost Rider.
Thor, what did you do?
Carol begins as we look down at Ghost Rider, who is slumped backwards on the ground. It would appear I made him angry. I replied as Ghost Rider's flaming arms suddenly reach up and unleash a furious stream of fire against us, knocking us both back to the ground. Ghost Rider stands up and looms over his teammates, while Steve Rogers calls out to him, telling him that is enough, and that we are not his enemies. Ghost Rider turns his attention on Captain America, who blocks Ghost Rider's attack with his shield.
We're fellow Avengers, and we're here to help you win the fight of your life against these monsters who want to make you one of them.
Captain America reminds Ghost Rider, looking over at several vampires who watch the battle from across the floor in a high-rise building within Madripoor. What I want, Hero Rogers, is to tear your wretched throat out. Lily Cromwell, also known as Baroness Blood, calls out. Shadow Colonel, with the boy thing clinging to his neck, tells the Baroness not now, before pointing out that the vampire kids have fled. He instructs her to tell the others to be ready to mist out of here before this entire building blows. Shall I fetch the rat bomber? Baroness Blood inquires. With the flaming dog, Sarge, at his feet, Shadow Colonel tells Baroness Blood that it has already been taken care of. As Ghost Rider swings a flaming chain towards Captain America, Blade appears and fires a gun at Sarge, knocking the large dog to the ground. Shadow Colonel calls out to his dog, and looks over to see that Blade is aiming his gun at him.
Hey, Colonel, I just shot your dog. Still feel like running away.
Blade asks,
I think you're the one who had better start running, Blade.
The Shadow Colonel responds,
Because my dog shoots back.
He warns Blade, as the large dog suddenly lunges at him.
Hell!
Blade calls out, as he is pushed backwards. Baroness Blood flies down to another level of the building as Shadow Colonel drops down alongside her. The Baroness reports that she is having a problem raising Snow Snake and the Carpathian.
You know those two. Not exactly the mouthy types. Except when it comes to sinking fangs into something.
Shadow Colonel replies, adding that he is sure whatever they are dealing with will be a smear on their chins before too long. At that moment, the mysterious Snow Snake rakes her blade across T'Challa, the Black Panther, whose armor protects him from the attack, as he tells the white-haired woman,
I understand your desire for freedom from the yoke of Dracula, but that war is not the answer for your people.
As Jen Walters, also known as She-Hulk, slams a fist into the monstrous bat creature called the Carpathian, she tells the Black Panther not to waste his time, as she doesn't think these two talk much. She doesn't think they fight good either, as the Carpathian screeches when She-Hulk's powerful fist strikes its face again. Flaming chains clang against Captain America's shield as Cap tells Robbie to fight this, and that he is not a monster. He struggles against the much more powerful Ghost Rider until Captain Marvel flies towards Ghost Rider.
Damn it, I'm sorry, kid, but we've got to get you under control.
She tells him as she fires a powerful blast of energy at close impact, which pushes Ghost Rider away from Captain America. Ghost Rider cries out in pain as Carol tells Robbie that if he is still in there, she is gonna drag him out, one way or the other.
Penance! Know the power the penance stands for the sins of your people. Creed half-breed.
Ghost Rider responds as he stares Captain Marvel down. Oh, Super Thor! A little help over here. Carol calls out to me, but I'm too busy fighting the Ghost Rider's flaming car. Thor will not be bested by a car, I declared, slamming my hammer against the front of the car. Carol clutches her head and falls back, screaming, while Ghost Rider boasts that all will know penance, that all Avengers will burn in the fire of vengeance. Meanwhile, in an undisclosed facility somewhere in Russia, Major Mikhail and his Winter Guard teammate Vostok lead Dracula himself towards the mysterious Red Widow, who stands in a large chamber, the floor littered with bodies. So, here we are. This is the meeting you requested, Count Dracula. You have proposal you wish to make. The Red Widow remarks, before telling Dracula to make them now.
I did not request a meeting with the Red Widow.
Dracula, restrained in a medieval contraption, with a large brace across his mouth, remarks,
I'm the Lord of Transylvania, and I will only speak with the man in charge.
A panel slides open, and dozens of vampires surge into the large chamber. With the Lord of Transylvania, you deal with me, the Red Widow declares, before informing Dracula that these vampire followers of his also came to Russia seeking asylum, and she is giving it to them. Tell me, old man, why do you deserve anything different? The Red Widow asks.
Because the contents of my head are worth far more intact than spilled upon the floor.
Dracula replies, to which the Red Widow tells him to prove it.
Where would you like me to begin?
Dracula asks, before claiming that
I have senators and lords in my pocket, sultans and bishops. As people of great wealth and power are always the quickest to sell their souls for a chance at eternal life. Perhaps you'd like to know the ones within your own government who claim allegiance to me?
He asks. The Red Widow knocks back a vampire that lunges at her and tells Dracula that they already have spy masters. What else? She asks.
I know what your master truly desires. I can give you that as well. I can give you the Avengers.
Dracula boasts. The Red Widow walks past a pile of vampire bodies and approaches Dracula, restrained in his wheelchair, as Ursa Major and Vostok stand behind him. And for this, I suppose, you will expect to be rewarded. You would have the Winter Guard crush your enemies, this pesky Shadow Colonel and his Legion of the Unliving. You would have us put you back in your castle, I presume, as Lord of the Vampires. The Red Widow asks.
No.
Dracula responds. Dracula claims that he has no interest in that throne anymore, that he carried an entire people on his back for over a century, and in the end, all it left him was tired. He announces that he only wants a place for himself. Somewhere he will be left alone, for however many days he has left. I see. A fair proposal. The Red Widow responds, before presenting Moscow's counter-offer. She raises a hand, and some guards standing near a door open the door, where a dozen or so shackled vampires can be seen. These were your consorts, yes? The Red Widow asks.
This is unnecessary. I've already offered you everything I know.
Dracula replies, we'll get to what you know. The Red Widow snarls, before holding a blade to the throat of a young adult-looking male vampire. I imagine there were many nights you spent enveloped in the naked embrace of these splendid specimens, exploring every inch of their smooth undead bodies. Or so you thought. The Red Widow remarks, as she slits the throat of the vampire, spraying blood all over the horrified Dracula, as she tells him that she will show him parts of them he has never seen. Dracula gasps. Tell me everything you know, Count. Every dark secret. Everything of possible value. Now, without hesitation. Tears begin to form in Dracula's eyes as the Red Widow offers to kill his consorts quickly, and then they will talk about the rest of his reward. In Madripoor, Sarge chomps his way through a weapon, while T'Challa reports over the communicators that the vampires are turning to mist and escaping. He then asks Blade what his status is.
The dog ate my sword and my gun. Now it's standing on the ceiling, laughing at me. My status is I hate this dog.
Blade declares as he leaps upwards and kicks Sarge, while T'Challa's voice can be heard saying,
Copy that. Sending the Hulk.
But Blade tells the Black Panther that he and his Hulk can go to hell. The day he needs help against a dog, they should feel free to put him down like one. Gladly, Blade. We'll hang your carcass on the banks of paradise so you can look upon the promised land you denied yourself. Sarge tells Blade as it drops to the ground.
Promised land? What the hell are you barking about?
Blade asks. Hey, the kingdom. Sarge replies. Nearby, Captain Marvel groans as Ghost Rider continues to hold her stare.
After this sinner's face turns to fire, all of you will join her in penance.
Ghost Rider declares, I'm gonna take a hard pass on that. Carol utters as she breaks free of the penance stare, surprising Ghost Rider, who exclaims that no mortal can withstand the penance stare. Whoever said I was mortal? Carol asks, before telling Ghost Rider to believe her that she has done penance her whole damn life. And I'm sick and tired of being punished for existing. Carol shouts as she knocks Ghost Rider back with a powerful surge of cosmic energy. Captain America rushes over to Carol, but she tells him not to mind her and to help Robbie.
You think you know punishment? You don't, but the Spirit will show you. Like I punished the Pharisees and the harlots of Salem, the Wendigo and the Luftwaffe, Blackheart and the Angel Zadkiel. Now it's your turn, Avengers. And if you don't like the stare, you can try the penance bomb.
Ghost Rider shouts as fiery energy surges around him. Cap realizes that Ghost Rider is going to blow and calls out to me to take him down. Inside the spirit of vengeance, Robbie Reyes screams. He doesn't understand what is happening to him and feels like he is about to explode. As Captain America and Captain Marvel struggle against Ghost Rider, I fly towards them, carrying Robbie's flaming car. Last chance, Roberto. End this madness, or I send you to hell with your own car. I called out. Carol remembers that the trunk is a portal to hell and suggests we put Ghost Rider in the trunk, but before we can do so, Blade appears behind Ghost Rider and bites down on his neck. He then spits something out of his mouth and utters,
That ought to do it.
Ghost Rider drops to his knees, seemingly powered down, while Carol asks Blade what he just did.
I'm a vampire. Sorta. I did what vampires do. The rider had a sickness in his veins, so I sucked it out. Anybody who makes a joke gets nunchucked to death.
Blade responds, before reporting that he had to let the dog go, though. Black Panther and She-Hulk join up with us, and the Black Panther reports that the Colonel and his Legion have escaped, but that his agents have taken the vampire children into protective custody, and they will be taken to Wakanda for treatment.
Right. I got all the treatment they need right here.
Blade snarls. No one acknowledges Blade's comment. Instead, the Black Panther reports that the Colonel's list of targets has been all but eliminated, and then he will be focusing solely on Dracula now. We're fighting vampires who kill other vampires, alongside a vampire who kills other vampires. Carol remarks, adding that she is still not entirely clear on why they are even bothering to get involved in this.
Because they won't stop with killing each other. They'll keep going until every one of you is dead.
Blade warns us, while Captain America turns to Robbie and asks him if he is okay.
Cap? It wasn't me, I swear. I wouldn't hurt you guys.
Robbie utters, looking Cap in the eyes. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry. Robbie calls out, as Cap hugs him and tells him that it is okay, and that we have all been there. They're gonna send me home, Robbie remarks a short time later, sitting in his car, as Blade leans against the car next to him.
Don't you think that's a good idea?
Blade asks. Robbie admits that he doesn't know what to think anymore. Before asking what those vampires did to him to make him into such a monster, Blade laughs, to which Robbie asks him what is so funny.
Ryder never picks the geniuses for hosts, does it?
Blade asks, "What's that supposed to mean?" Robbie exclaims. Blade asks him if he has someone he cares about. Someone normal. Someone still breathing.
Yeah, I do.
Robbie replies, running a hand through his hair.
Then get out now. No matter what it takes if you want him to stay that way.
Blade suggests. Robbie looks up at the Madripoor sky as the Avengers depart in a Quinjet. He has been told to go home, that he is not fit for duty. Hell, was I ever? He wonders. He realizes that he didn't even tell the Avengers who he saw when he was trapped on the burned-out Hell Highway. He wonders if it was all in his head. He keeps telling himself, but either way, it scares him to death. The worst part of it was how the figure smiled when he knew that Robbie was leaving. Robbie looks down at his hands that are suddenly ablaze, and he wonders if he is regaining control, that he can finally get off this damned highway.
Sure you are. For now. But believe me, kid, you'll be back.
Johnny Blaze, also known as Ghost Rider, exclaims as he rides into view, shocking Robbie. Johnny tells Robbie that the King of Hell will be waiting, and that next time he sees him, Ghost Rider, the two of them are gonna do a bit more than just talk. They're gonna have a little ride. Robbie knows that Johnny Blaze was a good guy, once, and the greatest Ghost Rider who ever lived. But now, he is something that chills Robbie's bones. Maybe because he knows he is already more of a monster than Blaze ever was.